Christmas lights twinkled across the small, snowy town. But for some people, the holiday wasn't just about gifts and celebrations. It was about memories they never speak of. This story is about a young female veteran who returned home after years of service. She didn't seek attention, she didn't wear her medals outside, and she never told anyone what she had survived. But this Christmas, everything was about to change. When the town prepared for its annual Christmas tribute for local heroes, they expected speeches, music, and celebration. What they didn't expect was how one quiet woman would become the heart of the entire event. She didn't call herself a hero, but the people she protected did. Her story is emotional, powerful, and deeply respectful to every soldier who served silently. Before we dive in, tell us in comments where in the world you are watching from. Snowflakes drifted gently across the small town as Emily Warren stepped off the bus, boots pressing softly into the frosty ground. Just 23 years old and already a decorated veteran, she carried herself with calm discipline. Her uniform jacket was neat, her duffel bag simple, and her presence almost unnoticeable, just the way she preferred. Emily had served overseas for 4 long years. She had seen things the world would never hear about, saved people whose names she didn't know, and lost friends she would never forget. Coming home during Christmas was supposed to feel warm, healing, and peaceful, but something inside her felt heavy. Everyone else had families waiting at the station. She didn't. Her parents had passed away years ago, and she had no siblings. The military had been the only family she knew, and leaving them behind felt like leaving a part of her soul. As she walked toward town, she noticed Christmas lights wrapped around every lamppost, snow-covered rooftops, and children laughing near the decorated tree in the central square. The world looked happy, almost too happy for someone carrying scars the world couldn't see. But Emily smiled softly. This was home, and even if the world didn't know who she truly was, she was grateful to simply breathe winter air again. Unbeknownst to her, the town would soon discover more about her than she ever planned to reveal. The next morning, Emily visited the local cafe, her favorite place as a kid. Warm lights glowed inside, and the smell of coffee brought back memories she hadn't felt in years. The owner, Mrs. Daniels, recognized her instantly. "Emily Warren? My goodness, welcome home," she said, running around the counter to hug her. Emily froze for a moment. She wasn't used to displays of affection, but she slowly returned the hug. People inside the cafe began whispering. "Is that her? She's the soldier who served overseas. I heard she saved an entire team once." Emily lowered her eyes. She didn't like being called a hero. In the military, heroes were usually the ones who never made it back. Mrs. Daniels insisted she stay for free breakfast. As Emily sat quietly by the window, the town mayor walked in, holding a red folder. "Miss Warren, I'm glad I found you," he said respectfully. "This year's Christmas ceremony is dedicated to local heroes, and we want you to be our guest of honor." Emily blinked, stunned. "Oh, sir, I don't think—" "It's not about speeches," he assured. "It's about gratitude. This town hasn't forgotten your sacrifice." Emily hesitated. She didn't want attention, but she also knew refusing might seem ungrateful. After a long breath, she nodded softly. "I'll be there." The mayor smiled warmly. "Perfect. The people will be honored to see you." As he left, Emily stared outside at the snow-covered streets. For years, she had lived between danger and discipline. Now she was facing something scarier than battle, being seen. This Christmas was about to reveal more of her heart than she expected. Christmas Eve arrived with fresh snow blanketing the entire town. Lights shimmered from rooftops, and music filled the cold night air. Everyone gathered in the town square, wrapped in scarves and joy. A large wooden stage was set under the giant Christmas tree, bright, tall, and glowing beautifully. Emily stood backstage, her hands lightly trembling. She wore her formal military uniform, polished and neat. The medals on her chest reflected the golden lights, but she still wished she could hide them. Mrs. Daniels adjusted Emily's collar gently. "You don't have to talk much," she whispered. "Just stand there. Let them honor you." Emily nodded. The mayor stepped onto the stage first. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said loudly, "this Christmas, our town celebrates someone who carried our flag across oceans, who protected lives, and who returned home with humility and strength. Please welcome our very own Emily Warren." A wave of applause rolled across the square. Some people even wiped tears from their eyes. Emily stepped forward, her boots pressed into the wooden stage, each step echoing in her chest. She wasn't used to crowds cheering for her. It felt unreal. She raised a small salute. "Thank you," she said softly. "I'm honored, truly." The applause grew louder. For the first time, Emily realized something. These people weren't praising her for glory. They were thanking her for sacrifice, for service, for years of silent strength. It wasn't about her story. It was about every soldier who served with her and those who never returned. After the ceremony, Emily was invited to a small gathering of veterans and townsfolk. Children handed her handmade cards, and elderly soldiers approached her with respectful nods. Each face told a story, and Emily listened quietly, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in years. An older woman whispered, "My son served in your unit. He always spoke highly of you." Emily's throat tightened. She hadn't expected personal recognition. It was usually about the mission, not the people. A young boy tugged her sleeve. "You saved my dad. My mom told me." Emily smiled softly, kneeling to meet his eyes. "I just did my duty," she said humbly. She realized then that being a hero wasn't about medals or recognition. It was about the lives touched quietly. Every story shared, every hand shaken, reminded her of her journey. The sacrifices made in distant lands were now honored here in her hometown. The warmth of gratitude filled Emily's heart, blending with the crisp winter air. She had returned home not just as a veteran, but as a symbol of courage, humility, and service. As night fell, the town's Christmas tree glowed brighter than ever. Emily walked slowly around the square, noticing each ornament, each ribbon, and each child laughing. Suddenly, a soft voice called her name. She turned to see a small girl holding a handmade ornament shaped like a soldier. "This is for you," the girl said shyly. Emily took it, tears threatening to fall. She realized that for years she had thought heroism meant never showing weakness. Tonight, she saw that being brave also meant allowing herself to feel gratitude, love, and connection. A choir began singing carols nearby. Emily watched families, veterans, and townsfolk singing together. In that moment, she felt the invisible threads that connected all of them: the shared respect, the shared hope, the shared humanity. That night, Emily understood something profound. Christmas wasn't just a holiday. It was a reminder that even the strongest warriors deserved warmth, kindness, and recognition. Her story was no longer silent. It resonated across every heart present. The night ended with snow softly falling, wrapping the town in a peaceful silence. Emily stood alone for a moment, looking at the glowing tree. She had returned to a world she thought had moved on without her, but tonight proved it hadn't. Her uniform no longer felt like armor. It felt like a bridge between the life she lived and the life she returned to. She understood the importance of acknowledgement, not for pride, but for connection. Every child, every veteran, every citizen she had touched in service had touched her in return. As she walked back to her small rented home, Emily felt a sense of peace she hadn't known overseas. She hung the little ornament from the girl on her bedside table, a reminder of hope, bravery, and love. This Christmas, Emily Warren didn't just return home. She returned to herself, to the warmth of gratitude, and to the silent strength that had always guided her. And as she closed the door behind her, she knew one thing: heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they carry courage quietly, letting the world see the light of their heart in moments like this.